everyone. Welcome back to Rooted Vines. I'm sorry, I know it sounds like I'm a little defeated, but I'm not. I'm feeling really good today. Today I will be talking about embracing the freedom of forgiveness, which includes a journey of healing and, of course, liberation. If you do not know me, I am Nayaka Anderson. I am the owner of Rooted Vines, a holistic health and wellness emporium where we focus on aligning your mind, body, and your spirit. But here on the YouTube channel, we really deep dive into self-reflecting, self-accountability, and kind of helping you gather the correct mindset to move forward. So join me in a journey of healing and liberation. So, everyone, I hope this message finds you in good spirits and with open hearts. So, today I want to really deep dive into a topic that holds immense power in transforming lives, and that is the gift of forgiveness. I know, I know, I, I know, okay? But really, forgiveness is a profound journey, and it does take courage and compassion and a deep sense of understanding. Now, we all struggle with forgiveness, and I'm not saying that you're not courageous. I'm not saying that you're not compassionate or you don't have a deep understanding. And I understand that you just don't play these foolish games out here. You know, when people trespass on you, it's really hard to find that courage and compassion and a deeper understanding for your fellow man, right? But really, forgiveness is about releasing the heavy burdens that we carry, the resentment that usually eats us alive and turns into anger and pain. And in that, we try to find a sense of peace and liberation within ourselves to release ourselves from that feeling, right? Because you've heard people say, where the forgiveness eats you more than the other person. Because usually when people trespass against you, and when I say trespass, I think I did a video about this. Trespassing isn't about you just coming on my property. It's coming into my spiritual, my mental, and my physical space, right? Without me inviting you. So when I say trespass, when people trespass against you and just do you any kind of way, it really is hard to find that balance and move forward, right? And they always say that it's hurting you more than it's hurting them because they gonna go about their way because they ain't think about you after that, right? They gonna do what they do, and we over here holding the just we got the looks, we're killing them in our mind with daggers and all kinds of stuff, and they done moved on with their little life. They ain't even thought about you, gave you a second look, honey. So that's why it's important that we deal with the forgiveness issue. I remember a time in my life when I held on to grievances and past hurts. And yes, honey, I did. I did. And it wasn't pretty. It really wasn't pretty. I mean, I carried them around like an invisible backpack and they were weighing me down. You know that song by Erykah Badu, Bag Lady? Oh, honey, I had the bags. All right. And they affected every part. Those bags affected every part of my relationship and my well-being. And it wasn't until I decided to open my heart to forgiveness that I truly began to understand its transformative power. But let me say this. I could not forgive until I forgave myself. I hope you get this because this is really important. I could not properly forgive anyone until I dealt with myself and forgave myself for all the trespasses, not that I only did to myself, but that I did to others. Because I'm always quick to tell people we'll run to God and woe is me and Susie and John did me this way. But let me tell you, when I did that, God said, honey, look at all them dead bodies behind you. Let's deal with you first. Before you come up here telling me about everybody else and everything else in your life that's going on, let's take a good look at you. And that mirror he put in my face changed my perspective of forgiveness, of pain, of betrayal, of manipulation. all the way through. So I want to say this also because I'm dealing with forgiveness. Forgiving someone does not mean that you forget or that you accept what happened. And I think this is why a lot of people will not forgive, because they think it's the chump move, right? They think now that I forgive, I'm the fool, right? Because now that I did that, I got to automatically have them come back. They can come back in my life and do the same thing. Slow your roll. Slow your roll. Okay? So forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or condoning what happened. And I don't know why we feel like that is put on forgiving. So when someone says go ahead and forgive them, that's not what they're telling you to do. But what they're telling you to do is to release it. Release the whole, release the emotion, release the pain, the shackles of the past that are stuck on us that is hindering us from moving forward, right? Break every chain, honey. Break every chain, because we all walking around here with chains on our minds, change on our spiritual being, and some of us chain physically, right? So we have to learn to let that go so that we can be free to move about the cabin, honey. So it means that you get to decide whether or not to bring up past trespasses in the moment. Wait a minute. In the moment of anger. Now, for those of you who are married, or I'll even say for those of you that are boyfriend and girlfriend, there's a lot of trespasses that take place. There's a lot of things that go on. And sometimes they call this fighting dirty in marriages or relationships, right? Where you bring up the past in your moment of anger to hurt someone. This right here is really damaging. Not only is it damaging if you're doing it in relationships, friendships, whatever ship it may be, is damaging to you too, because it speaks a lot about your character, that you have to go drum up something in the past to shoot daggers at someone else, and especially someone you claim that you love, right? So we have to be very careful in deciding on when or if we're going to say certain things, because if it is in the past, leave it in the past. If the action that they're doing is still taking place, then what we have to learn to do is communicate, and to communicate effectively when that thing comes up. Then we're not gonna compare apples and oranges, 1995, whatever. But what we're going to do is communicate how we feel right then and there so that they can see the trespass. They ain't got to guess. They ain't got to say, no, that's not what I said or how it went. Right in the midst of the trespass, you have to learn to communicate that thing, and then you won't have to bring up things in the past, right? In those moments of anger. And it's hard, honey. We are human. We are human. Shoot, when I'm going through certain things, I don't care for friendship, whatever, family, I be like, they say something, and I'm like, oh, that past come up real quick. Like, really? Now let me tell you, now you know, but you have to let it go. You have to let it go. So we have to remember that we cannot use our words, we cannot use the trespasses, we cannot use the past as weapons. It is a reflection on who you are when we do that. So you think that you are hurting the next person, but what you're doing is showing them the kind of person you really are. So if they're going to do wrong, let them be in their wrong. Call them out on it right then and there so that they will know. But just let them know that your character is intact. And believe me, let me say this too. Believe me, when things come up, they know they passed. They know they've already connected the dots that they've done this in the past. You ain't got to say anything. They know. Now, are they going to admit it to you? Honey, no. They ain't gonna. Now, that's what they not going to do, is admit that to you. But be rest assured, they know exactly what's going on. Okay? So sometimes we have to just let them, what do you say? How do you say that? Lay in the burden. I don't know if I said that right, but they have to deal with that, right? And if they continue on, you have to check yourself and say, is this the type of person I want to be with? Because this trespass keeps happening, even when I communicate. Because what they're doing is they're showing how they feel about you. They're showing the level of respect that they're going to give you. And if you keep, all you're going to do is complain about it, but nothing else happens. All you're going to do is just show them, hey, this, you know, let's not do this, or whatever it may be. And they continue to trespass on you. That's when you have to say, maybe this isn't the right relationship for me. Maybe I have to sever some relationships in my family if they make me feel this way and they continue to do this. You have to not only leave the hurts in the past, but sometimes you're going to have to walk away and leave those people in the past exactly where they belong. So I hope you got that. I hope you got that. One of the most profound acts of forgiveness, though, I had to embrace, like I said, was forgiving myself. Because often we are our worst critics. Honey, nobody can talk bad about me than me. Okay, because I know me. So it's really hard to shut down those voices in your head. But when I realized I was holding on to past mistakes and punishing myself for not knowing, because you do the best you can with what you know. And if you did not know, you just did not know and you just kind of found out for not knowing. Then what I know now, if I knew, honey, if I knew back then, my life would look different. I wouldn't have had to go through the things that I went through to get to this beautiful part of my life. Though I'm glad I'm where I'm at because I feel like I earned it in the lessons that I took, the blows that I took, the heartache that I took, the betrayal that I took. It did lead to something beautiful. And I am so grateful for that. But through introspection and compassion, I learned that forgiveness really is a gift we give to ourselves. So, one of my practices that I did when I was doing my healing is that I had to write a letter to my younger self. And I had to forgive my younger self and let her know that it's okay. That she just didn't know any better and she did the best that she could. And that now I'm all right because of you, because you took those blows, because you made those choices, because you had to pay those consequences, right? I made it. You made it. It's okay. We can let it go. We did the best we could. And we're reaping the best outcome because you never stopped, right? I never stopped. I kept learning those lessons. I kept wanting to know more. And though I made a lot of bad choices, but I made those choices because I didn't have the information I needed, because I didn't have a wise counsel that I could go to, right? But I made it through her strength, her courageousness, her tenacity, determination. I sit here today. So I encourage you to write a letter to yourself, right? Just write it down. And then later on, maybe a week or 2 weeks or the next month, read it to yourself. And you'll feel yourself let go. And always remember, we have different aspects of ourselves that needs a healing. I was 16 years old when I got pregnant. I graduated January at the age of 16. So I couldn't go in the army. I did have a full ride scholarship to a school in Arizona to work on cars because I wanted to be in the NASCAR pit crew. My mom wouldn't sign the papers. Couldn't. So at the age of 16, I didn't have a lot of choices. And let me tell you, what they say is true. Idle feet will lead you astray, honey. I ended up pregnant. And I had my daughter 2 months after turning 17. And there was a lot of things that I just didn't know. My dad wasn't around and my mom was in another world. I'll just put it, she was in another world. So I didn't have a wise counsel. So I had to figure these things out by myself. And so I ended up having three daughters because I had a set of twins by the time I was 18. I did not learn my lesson, honey. Okay. I'm just putting it out there. Didn't learn my lesson. But when my daughters graduated high school and the last two walked across the stage, I felt my 16-year-old self come out. and I cried. Them tears dropped because although I was now a grown woman in my mid 30s, I had never stopped being that 16-year-old girl. I had never progressed past that 16-year-old feeling. Like I got stuck at being 16, a 16-year-old mom. And so when they crossed that stage, I felt a disconnect where that 16-year-old was like, I can rest now. I did what I was supposed to do. Now you can take over. And the thing was with that is once we disconnected and she let me go, I had to find out who I was now without being that 16-year-old self, right? And I'm still learning because I still feel like I don't feel like I look at other women and they live like I say this grown woman life or whatever. But me, I'm still in this childhood play, everything's possible because it is. I never got to that stage. And I don't know if I want to get to that stage, but I'm still growing and learning once I disconnected from her. So it's just I just put that in there because it's very interesting when you deal with the younger self, when you deal with past mistakes, and just really deep diving and being honest with yourself on the decisions you made and why you made the decision. That is so important ourselves. So, through introspection, as I was talking about, and compassion, I've learned that again, forgiveness is really a gift, and it's a gift to ourselves. It's a way that we can say that I'm human. I am human. I am going to make mistakes, and that's okay, right? I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. But I choose to learn and I choose to grow and I choose to release the weight of the past. So say that again. Say that with me. I won't say it again. Say it with me. I am human. I make mistakes and that's okay. I choose to learn. I choose to grow and I choose to release the weight of my past. All right. Now, forgiving others was a little different journey than forgiving yourself, but it's just as important because it's really about as you see yourself as only being human, you have to see other people as being human. And guess what? They are going to make mistakes, right? But the difference is they can choose or choose not to learn. They can choose to grow or stay where they are at. And they can choose to keep the weight of their past or they can choose to let go. But you must understand that they are on their own journey too. And sometimes we cross paths with people who are on a journey of low vibration and we want to take it personally. It just so happened we crossed their path, but you should be able to recognize what's going on. And once you recognize it, you disconnect and you let them go on with light and love and you pray that they find themselves one day. That is the service of each other, the perception that we have of each other, knowing that everybody is going through something. Everybody, as I sit here, everybody is going through something. So we have to make sure that we're looking at people as humans. So they have their struggles and they're dealing with their mistakes. And they have to choose whether they want peace over anger, love over resentment. And just because they have not chosen peace or love yet doesn't mean that they won't. It just means you won't be there to see them when they choose it. So though they may be in anger now, it might be 2 years, it might be 3 years that they stay in that anger. But sooner or later, a decision will have to be made, right? And then for some, they will die in that anger. They will die with that resentment. For me, I was in my rage, my anger, my resentment, my pain for 7 years. It took 7 years before I found my peace and before I found my love. So though a lot of people that I crossed paths with that thought that girl crazy, they don't see that I healed. And it wasn't their journey to see that I healed. It was their decision to walk away from the craziness. And I understand that because I looked at myself and was like, yeah, you was kind of out there. So, reeling it back in. And in the process, I discovered the incredible impact of what forgiveness can really do on our relationships in life. It definitely builds bridges. It heals, oh, honey, it heals so many wounds. And it opens our hearts to a deeper understanding and deeper connections because it starts to shape the circle of trust. I won't take it there. The circle of trust for love and the compassion to just really start to grow and to flourish, right? And you start to pick up on things much faster when it deals with relationships. So then you automatically know when you need to back out of that thing. You automatically can feel somebody else's energy because as you start to change your vibration, your frequency starts to rise and everybody else stays at a different plane. So you know who's jiving with you and who's not. You know who's for you and who's not. And it's not for you to tell them, but it's for you to just, like I said, gracefully bow out, okay? So I know you're saying, well, how do we embrace forgiveness just in our daily lives? It really starts with mindfulness. I did a video a little while back, and it's not that while back because I ain't got that many videos on mindfulness so that you can understand what mindfulness really means because I think people throw that word around but they really don't understand the practice of mindfulness. So it really starts with mindfulness and becoming aware of the moments when resentment and anger starts to surface. So this is my practice. When I feel anger starting to surface because someone said something or something's going on, I stop in my tracks because I don't like that feeling. And I say, okay, number one, what about what this person said or this situation is bothering you? Because what I want to know is it me? Am I being triggered somewhere? Is there a trauma somewhere I didn't address that I feel this anger surfacing? And then I say, well, how will this affect your life? Is it going to, are you just disagreeing? Are you just mad that they even voiced it? What is going on? And then I say, okay, this ain't got nothing to do with me. This ain't going to build me and it ain't going to break me. It was just something that was spoken. The situation isn't going to break me. It ain't going to build me. I can walk away from this. And then that's what I do. And sometimes you don't even need to say anything. Like sometimes my husband will say something and I'm like, but then I'm like, this don't warrant a discussion. There's no reason for us to get in an argument about this. I can just be silent in that. There ain't nothing to say. I don't have to always form and put out my opinion about things, right? But that is growth. That is what growth looks like. When you can stop in the middle of something and really analyze what's going on and then respond accordingly. Okay? So also conscious choices to let go. And that's basically what I do. I use conscious choices to let go, to stop, to analyze, and then to figure out the proper response and even see if it needs a response. Maybe that's the proper response. No response needed, right? And to find compassion for myself and for others. Because sometimes things are said because that person is in a certain space. But I'm not about to get in that space with you. I'm not going to go there with you. So if you want to be in that space, you can be in that space. But I have the right to choose not to be there with you. And so that's what that is when you stop to really analyze things. Also, besides doing mindfulness, you can also do meditation, journaling if you can, and affirmations every day is so good. And affirmations I really love, and they support your journey of forgiveness. So we can seek support from trusted friends, trusted family, and trusted professionals to help guide us through, the forgiveness process, because it is not an easy process to go through. Just remember, it's a journey, right? It's a journey. You're going to get tripped up sometimes. It's not a destination. You will go through this for the rest of your life. It's a continuous practice, a choice we make every day. to free ourselves from the chains of the past and to open our hearts to the present moment, right? So really, I invite you all that watch this video to join me in a journey of forgiveness, of letting go, of releasing the burdens of the past. Let's choose freedom. Let's choose compassion. Let's choose love. How hard is that? And let's embrace the gift of forgiveness and transform our lives and our relationships and our well-being. So in this video, I just want to thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share my heart. Thank you for allowing me to share pieces of my life with you. May we all find the strength to forgive, the courage to heal, and the wisdom to really embrace the freedom that forgiveness brings, because it is a beautiful and a wonderful gift. So if you need to give yourself anything during these holiday seasons, give yourself forgiveness. All right, you guys, I'm out of here. Please like, share. If you know someone who really needs to forgive and let go, please share this video with them. And as always, I pray that whatever you seek in this lifetime, that it is also seeking you. Be blessed, my family.